What's up, Bears? Eric here, and in this video I want to talk a little bit about the new Hulu series, Drag Me to Dinner. The whole season dropped at once, which I didn't expect, but I've had a chance to watch every single episode. Was it a bait and switch series? Was this really what they were advertising to us when we saw the promos for it? We didn't have a lot, right? But the show was supposed to be Drag Me to Dinner. It was supposed to be where two teams of two drag queens make a meal, serve it inside of a themed room, and then offer some entertainment to a panel of judges. And essentially, that is kind of what you're watching. But after watching the whole season, I'm not going to spoil any of the individual episodes here, but after watching the whole season, I don't think the show necessarily delivers on all of those promises. What Drag Me to Dinner is essentially is a skit show. It's a comedy show where nothing you're seeing, from what I can tell, really matters other than just laughing and having a good time, which is fine. I love laughing and having a good time. No issues with that whatsoever. But the competitive elements of the show that I was looking forward to are kind of non-existent. And looking back now, I can't believe that I ever expected that to begin with. I can't believe that I expected drag artists, drag queens, to get on camera, make a bunch of food, design a room, and then host a party all within like a 42 to 45 minute format. I can't believe that's what I was expecting, right? Now that I think about it. Anyway, so when it comes to let's talk about the judging panel first. So these are the judges and the host, Murray Hill, which, by the way, Murray Hill is the MVP of the series. Murray is amazing as a host, and would love to see Murray perform somewhere outside of the show. I know that they've been on other shows on streaming, so maybe I'll check one of those out. But Murray Hill, absolutely amazing. The rest of the judges panel, there's not a lot of chemistry. There's not. They're all individually fine, but together it doesn't really work for me. Like, Bianca is Bianca. You know what you're getting when you get Bianca. But the other three judges all sort of are just present and accounted for. I guess Neil does a little bit of something, but other than that, it's kind of just Bianca and the atmosphere of these rooms once they're completed. So not happy with the judges panel. Plus, they're part of the skits. They're involved in these comedy routines, which I can't tell how much of it is improv and how much of it is scripted out, because some episodes it seems obvious to me that it's scripted, and then other parts it's like it was improv. So I don't know. Maybe that's the magic of the show. Maybe that's kind of what we're going for here. Then you have the cooking element. I don't know how much of that is actually used in the challenge, because you have these skits you have to do and everybody has to finish cooking at the same time. So some of that food would not be ready, I guess, for the next seating, the next party. So I think there are people behind the scenes cooking the items that, or making the items that the queens are serving so that they can be done properly. Because if you watch the show, you'll see that I probably wouldn't eat anything off of the plates the way the queens prepare them. So I'm going to go on a limb and say that's also not the queens doing as well. Maybe they have something to do with the mixed drinks, possibly. Not sure. Then you have the magic, which is the rooms themselves with the formula. So they have to make these rooms work, and they put them together based on a theme. Some of the themes are like baby shower or, tropical island, things like that. So they have these themes, toga parties, and they have to create a room around those themes. And I think that's fine, because I think some of the queens, you can see their influence in the rooms, but other times it doesn't seem like there's much influence in those rooms. They're just they come up with the idea and then somebody else makes them. So I don't know. Again, it's TV. But then you have the dinner parties themselves. Now, this is what I think actually matters in the context of the show. This is what you're paying for when you watch the show. Once you get past the making the food and designing the space, you get the actual finished product, which I think is where the show really shines, is in the interactions between the judges and the contestants, the queens that are actually on the show. That's where you really get to see, you know, how the magic happens. So I would say if you're going to watch the show, and I'll give you my final recommendation at the end of this, but if you're planning on watching it, I think you'll feel similarly to me that that is the best part of the show, is the actual finished skit portion. As far as judging goes, I don't know what they're really judging them on, because a lot of the criteria is based on things that I think are TV magic. So I don't know if that's even real, or, you know, I feel like it's all comedy, I guess is the best way to put it. Anyway, one of the things I think that I appreciate when it comes to the show, and this is what I really like about it, is it's more queer content being put out there for people to be, to have available to them if they want to watch it. It's also not only showcasing queens from Drag Race and Dragula, but a lot of queens and queer artists in the community who have not been seen on network television yet, having an opportunity to be put out on a stage and a platform like this. So thank you so much, Drag Me to Dinner, for doing that, especially Murray Hill, who I was not familiar with as a drag king performing on the show. I was quite entertained, and showbiz, as Murray Hill would say. So looking forward to that. So all of that is great. And I think there's some really cool combinations of personalities that work. Some of them don't, but I think most of them do. And I think at the end of the day, the show is just a feel-good show. All that you're intending to do when you sit down and watch this is be entertained by what you're watching. And you're not supposed to be too worried about the competitive nature, because they're literally playing for a golden grader. So there's no prize at the end. So, well, there is a prize, but there's no real prize at the end. It's just kind of, you know, having fun and having a good time. So that's really what the show is. It is a skit show with some very talented drag artists, and they're showcasing that in the forefront on something other than like Drag Race Dragula. So the competitive side of it is more about just having a good time. And there needs to be a place for that as well. So I do appreciate that from this show. So was it a bait and switch? I mean, kind of, but it doesn't really matter because the show's a good time. I would definitely recommend checking out Drag Me to Dinner, especially if you're a fan of any of the queens that you've seen advertised. I'm sure you're going to meet some throughout the show that you love that you may not have known before. And I think Bianca's great, and Murray Hill is absolutely fantastic. All the other judges are fine as well, but I think those are the two standouts for me. But look, have you watched Drag Me to Dinner? What did you think of the show? If you haven't watched it, are you planning on watching it? Did you give up after one episode? Any and all thoughts and opinions on the show, I want to hear down in the comments below. If you're watching me for the first time and you want more content like this, where I talk about everything from queer, LGBTQI plus superheroes and TV shows and movies, all the way down to drag content, and also calling out any kind of negativity on the platform, well, you know, if I can. I'm not going to focus on that too much, but it's sometimes it's there. If you like that kind of stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would really like to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the summer, and I think all of you can help me with that. So thank you so much, and leave a comment down below, and I will see everyone in the next video. Take care.